Hey, I'm glad that you joined me again. It's time for the captain. We're going to continue in First Peter chapter 5. Last week I talked about humility, which kind of ties into the report of Caleb, which ties into that. So I encourage you to go all the way back if you haven't, if you're just joining us, to come in and kind of get on board with what we're going with here. But like I said, I'm going to jump right back into chapter 5. We're talking about being humble, and that humility is not weakness at all. Humility is actually a strength, and it's almost like having that, like if you play cards, it's like having that one card that you know when you lay it down, you're going to win. That's basically kind of what humility is. It's a quiet strength. Humility doesn't say I'm a pushover. Humility doesn't say that I need to be taken advantage of by any means, because we are called into these places and these positions and these situations to be in command of those situations, to take control of situations, to take chaos and bring order to it. And ironically, it's not even ironic, actually. God is a God of order. God is not a God of chaos. God created things in an order, and he establishes his kingdom in an order. And we are privileged enough to be a part of his kingdom, right? Once we come into that, and if you're sitting on the outsides and you've been watching some of these videos and the jury's out of this Christianity thing, I'm kind of talking some meat and potatoes of the Christianity world, is that Christianity is about a relationship with Jesus to guide us through this world in an order that he has set. And that's kind of where we're at today. So back to what I was talking about. Likewise, the younger, submit yourselves to the elders, all the subject to one another, be clothed with humility, for God resists the proud. Remember I talked about, he doesn't turn your back on you. He just kind of puts his hands on your chest to let you know he's still there. But he's just kind of like, whoa, I need you to bring it down a few notches. So it goes on to say in verse 6, chapter 5, verse 6 is, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, right? The mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. Oh, this is a hard verse. And here's why it's a hard verse. I'm going to read this to you again. Number one, I have it listed. There's like 5 things that can happen here. Number one, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. That's a hard thing, because in this day and age of instant, we want to be exalted right now. And our time may not be right now, because it's very clear. It says in due time, and it's not going to be our time frame. It's going to be his time frame, which is why it makes it important that we humble ourselves, that we believe in something bigger than ourselves, that we get ourselves out of the way so he can do what he needs to do with us, which exalt us in his time. So when you come in with a proud and hoity-toity and I'm just going to wreck shop, unless God's specifically told you to do that, because there are times in the Bible where God gives people the confidence to wreck shop. I get it. This is all about, if everything at work is a chaos, your calls are chaos, this is chaos, you're fighting with management, you're fighting with your partners, you're fighting with your coworkers, and nothing seems to be going in any good direction, we as Christians are the ones that are supposed to set the examples. Now, I'm not trying to put pressure on anybody. I'm just telling you how it is. We're the light on the hill. We're the example. So that humility comes as a strength. When everybody's like, which I am guilty of this. I am guilty of this at times. We all are guilty of this at times. How do we get out of that? This is how we get out of it. We fall to our knees. We put our head in our hands, and we just say, God, forgive me for my being overwhelming. What is your goal? What's your plan? What do I need to do? And that all comes through humility. So if God's resisting you like this, I think he's staring you right in the face saying, I love you. I need you to chill for a minute. Once we do that, then this becomes this, and he pulls us in, and it's the still, small, quiet voice as he's embracing us and going, here's what I need you to do. Here's the plan for today. I need you to step over here. I need you to talk to this person. I need you to go over here. Once we embrace that, We in this position, doesn't matter if you're a police officer, paramedic, firefighter, nurse, doctor, once we embrace this and the creator of the universe is now giving us thoughts and directions, our steps are then purposeful. And our humility is a strength. Because when everybody's murmuring, it only takes one person to go, you know what? I don't necessarily agree with what's going on here, but we're going to honor this position. We need to follow the rules. We need to do this. Unless it's illegal, unethical, immoral, there's really not a reason to not follow the rules. And believe me, in this day and age when everybody is like, if it feels good, do it. And I want to do my own thing. And I'm my own person. And the person that's telling me to do this stuff, I absolutely cannot stand, which is a whole other heart issue, right? When you humble yourself and you're like, and you tell your crew and your coworkers see you go, you know what? I may not agree with what's happening right now, but here's what we're going to do the right thing. We are living in a day and time where the right thing has to be done. We have to do the right thing. Sometimes doing the right thing is the hardest thing you will ever do. But it's our job to be able to do the right thing so you can go home and put your head on a pillow and fall asleep with comfort. Because the people that choose not to do the right things, it's constant turmoil. It's constant chaos. Because what part of the web of lies do we want to start? It's a great question, isn't it? If I'm not willing to do the right thing, I'm going to tell a little white lie over here, which is what Satan did from the very beginning. You won't surely die. Even though God says if you eat of this tree, you're going to die. And Satan's going to go, you won't surely die. That's what he does to us when we get into these positions, is that he takes, and if we're proud and we're like, you won't surely die. You don't really need to follow those rules. You don't really need to do that. That's all voice of the enemy that comes after us and gets us into these positions and gets us into trouble because we do stupid things under that. God doesn't want us to do stupid things. He wants us to do great things. And sometimes great things is the right thing. And sometimes the right thing is totally against the grain of where everybody's running. We as Christians, we as people of faith, we that say, hey, God is who I follow. Jesus is what I want to do. Sometimes have to stand against the grain. Is it easy? No. Is it hard? Yes. But it's the right thing to do, which I think is why this starts talking about be humble before the almighty hand of God, because he's going to exalt you in due time. And when he exalts you and all the doors open up and all of a sudden you're the leader and everybody's looking to you, your platform is there. And it may not be a whole group of people. It may just be one or two. Our job is to be humble enough and be in servant leadership. I'm sure you've heard those terms before, enough to be able to go, okay, God, it says right here, if I humble myself under your mighty hand, that you exalt me in due time. And it's going to be his time, not our time. It says, next week I'm going to talk about casting all his cares upon him, for he cares for you. That's where we're going next week, because there's steps to this. Step number 1, humble yourself before the almighty hand of God, that he exalts you in due time. Don't be a pushover, but be humble, strong. That's what we're supposed to do. Go home, be safe, make a difference.